Oh, what's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brandman Sean, and this video is brought to you by BrandmanNetwork.com because I signed myself. Now it's a Saturday morning. We on the phone, just recording straight off with a quick video. And there's a few really important things that I got to talk about. One is why you need to stop focusing on IG, right? Another one is really a strategy that's going to help you get real results or how to approach it. And then another one is for people who are really interested in approaching this thing like an entrepreneur. Before I get to any of that, please follow Brandman Network on Instagram. Ironic because I'm about to talk about stop focusing on IG, but please follow Brandman Network on Instagram. We're going to be doing some really interesting things and going to have some offerings for a lot of you artists, like contests and things like that. But let's get into why you should stop focusing on IG. Anyway, artists that are having struggle with the content that they're trying to post, right? They don't know what I should do on IG. I've been struggling for a good minute. Well, there's so many artists that are focusing heavily on IG as the thing to blow them up. And when they're not good at it, for one, right? And they haven't acknowledged that if you look at where Instagram is on its curve of maturity, you're going to have very little traction when it comes to organic content. You can only expect, even if you were really dope with your content, to get so many followers, so much gain when it comes to Instagram. So let's start with one thing that you could be doing instead. Focusing on getting your music heard. Getting your music heard and experienced. So on Spotify or YouTube, and getting people to experience that. And now they acknowledge your IG to keep up with you, not to create your fans. A lot of people who aren't the type of artists in the first place to create fans from a personality or whatever's going on IG are trying to leverage IG organically with content to do so, when you need to be focusing on just getting your music heard, because that's the type of artist you are, right? And that's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's different type of people. Some people are going to bring it in through interviews. Some people are going to bring in a lot of people through personality, all that kind of stuff on Instagram skits, blah, blah, blah. And other people are going to just be able to just have their music. And people hear your music on Spotify, and then they say, I wonder what else is going on with this person. So that's one reason to keep that in mind. But another way to look at it as well is, once again, if you are struggling on IG to get followers, especially in 2019, when TikTok is currently popping and giving almost organic views for the free, it just seems like you can post a post with nothing and people somehow still see it, right? Your very first post with no hashtags or nothing can still somehow get viewed. That won't be forever. So what I'm telling a lot of people, what I've been telling a lot of the artists in Brandman Network, in the BrandmanNetwork.com space, I was like, bruh, if you got 500 followers on IG and you're struggling trying to figure out a strategy, forget about IG. Focus on TikTok. Straight up. Right? And I've told several other artists, and there's been a lot of artists who have listened to that, and in 3 weeks, they only had $5,000 followers on Instagram, and then in 3 weeks later, they had 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 followers on TikTok and growing. I got a couple of really interesting interviews to watch that'll be dropping snippets of it on the YouTube channel, so keep a lookout for those. They're already in the Brandman Network space in full, but you'll get some strong snippets from those interviews and tips. But again, stop focusing on IG. One, if you are not that type of artist and you're struggling to do it anyway, and you really are going to be bringing people based on your music, because if you aren't that interesting, just be realistic in terms of the type of brand you're trying to put out. Some brands are far more interesting when people care about it already versus the type of brand that's going to get attention, then make people care. And then two, consider the fact that, look, Instagram is just not in that space anymore. Be real, right? So those are some things to really consider. And another thing is, you got to choose a platform that's true to you, regardless. People are ignoring platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, right? They're just facing a wave, and they're stuck in this habit, right? You're stuck in this habit chasing everybody else who have found success, and now when the curve changes, you can't catch up or keep up. And what I mean by that is, look, Facebook still is creating real fan bases for people. I just got a call. It was a one-on-one, actually, because nobody else showed up for the meeting, but it was a one-on-one with an artist in Brandman Network. And he has an ad that's going crazy on Facebook, just Facebook right now, right? And look, he's hitting that spot. And I know another artist I've probably mentioned him on the channel before that, yo, dude, he has a career. He has millions of views on YouTube videos, but that started with getting millions of views on Facebook. And they're legit views on Facebook. He's touring and everything, selling merch and everything. So please remember, at the end of the day, you got to think about platforms and how they work for you. Right? Which platform works for you? We know how Lil Nas X used Twitter. I know some other artists right now, his entire team, he was like, look, we're focused completely on Twitter. That's it for their content. And they're getting they're getting a lot more shareability. So there's platforms that work for everybody, but you have to figure out how they work for you. Right? Don't just follow this one track mind type advice. Another thing, because I really want people to take action on that whole Instagram thing and really think how you're looking at it. It doesn't make sense if you got 500 followers to go be going hard body, posting content, expecting to get these massive amount of followers on it. Okay, yeah, you want to post, get your strategy going, get your schedule going, and you post, okay, but it needs to be automatic. You're not thinking about it anymore. You just post to keep updated, but your strategy for growth needs to be on a different platform. Twitter, doesn't have to be on a different platform. If it works for you, if you have a strategy on Instagram, but just understand posting on IG in a time where it's not having organic traction is not a growth strategy. First, keep that in mind. It also might not be for you. Now, another thing is this business stuff, bro. I hear so many people who really want to be entrepreneurs and they're trying to think like entrepreneurs, but one thing that I constantly hear that, look, in my mind needs to be debunked is this whole idea of millionaires have an average of X amount of income streams, whatever that is. And my issue with it is not the fact that it's probably true. Well, I'm very, very confident that almost every millionaire out there probably at some point develops multiple income streams. But you have to remember strategy in the same way I say, don't go out there trying to copy what Drake does today. When you just launched your career, you got to look at what Drake used to do or look at what somebody else who's on ground level and how they're moving. It's the same thing when it comes to this money, man, and this moving as an entrepreneur. If you ask a lot of these people, especially who are billionaires, right? Let's go to the most money, not millionaires, billionaires. This is a guy by the name of Daniel Pena. I think he's created 35 billionaires or something like that, right? He coaches billionaires. And he said the most common trait between all of them is focus, right? Focus, because it takes focus to create something of great value. And what a lot of people are trying to do is you're trying to get 5 income streams before you have one well that's dug deep. Dig one well, focus on one thing and build it out. Build that thing out, really get into it. And then you can find a parallel income stream, right? It's the same thing as like an artist starts to make money off of streams, right? And then they start to make money off of touring. That's parallel, and it's all within the branch of or some relatability to being an artist. That's the way you should be thinking. Hopefully that's how a lot of y'all are thinking, but a lot of people are trying to do different hustles, or they're so diverse with their music and their fan bases and how they're approaching things that you're not actually focusing to break through. Because first you have to start with one thing. Go look at all these people. They start with one thing till they get to the level till they can invest in other things. And that means invest time and energy. It's very hard, especially if you don't have the right people in play and the resources to just blow up with 50 different things, 5 different things, all that stuff at once. So keep this in mind, because look, what you'll find, and anybody will tell you, especially look, if they're in the comment section, if you're watching, let people know. If you focus on one business, there's like 50 things to focus on within that one business in the first place. So if you have 5 different types of artistry or 5 different types of business, there's a lot of different learnings that go into one of them. So if you got 3 businesses, 5 businesses doing, and you have to, learn those 50 different things within those and be working on those, then you're not only in one business distracted from different parts of other businesses while you're over here or over here, you're also losing out on your other businesses. So, and that might be a little bit unclear, so I'm gonna restate that one more time, and we're gonna get up out here. Look, think about it this way, all right? If I'm a musician, right? Don't you have touring? Don't you have music? Don't you have your graphic design? Don't you have your videos to shoot? Don't you have actual music creation and the different aspects of music creation? Well, especially while it's just one person, right? While you're working on one of those things, you're not working on another one of those things, right? And while you're working on another one of those things, you're not working on 5 to 10 other things that you could or should be working on. Now imagine if you got 5 businesses with all these things that you aren't working on when you're not even working on everything that you should be in one business. So if you're working on one business, at the very least, even though there's a give and take, everything at least is helping you move in one direction. But when you're not, right? When you go outside that business, you're no longer continuing to move that business down the field. You're moving some other business down the field, which slows down the process in another one, right? So you got to think really logically and practically about resources and how you use them at the beginning. Build up, make this big thing blow up, let it get what get that cash flow going. And now you can invest that cash flow in other things. You can invest that cash flow in bigger businesses. But after you reinvest and reinvest and reinvest in that same business. It's the only way to think about it. People try to all right, these facts about people who are already there do not necessarily apply to what you need to do to get there. So let's keep it that simple. And last but not least, I want to end with a quote from Rich Prawl, courtesy of Dan Runcie, because he's the founder of Trapital. Definitely check out Trapital if y'all haven't checked out Trapital. Some of the best articles on music, for real, hands down. But he was watching the shop and he actually shared a quote of Rich Paul saying, yo, when I hopped off the plane, they were like, bro, you should be thankful for the first class seats you had. And he was like, bro, I don't want the first class seats. I want the plane. It's a different type of thinking and it's a different type of focus. So figure out what your actions are leading up to, because that self-awareness will save you from disappointment, right? Look, if you could be realistic, be realistic. Yo, know what? I want this, but my actions don't add up to this. So maybe I should lower my goal, or I should adjust my behavior to reach the actual goal that I say I want. We'll leave it at that. Once again, follow Brandman Network on Instagram. I'll put a link to that in the description below, at Brandman Network, at Brandman Network, at Brandman Network. Follow us. We got some dope things we will be offering. This is for the free, like for real. Other than that, if you like this video, go ahead and like button. If you like it, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.